I'm David Harvey and welcome to Harvey's of Witney. We're an old established family business going back some 70 years, and in this masterclass video you'll see some of the beautiful pieces which I deal in, and I will try to put them into their historical context. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to get notifications of future masterclass videos. Click the link below to subscribe to our free newsletter, packed full of details of fresh acquisitions and news from the antiques trade. After the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, Charles II came over to England to take the throne, and he brought with him quite a lot of the foreign and in particular French styles and periods that he had been associated with whilst living over on the continent. This piece dates from about 1680, and we can see some of the foreign influence in this, in particular in the way this cornice is deeply concave there at the top. That's quite an important feature of this piece. And when we talk about dating these pieces and how we were influenced by styles from abroad, you can see the continental feel to this, and yet there is something very English about it. Remember that we had the Great Fire of London in 1666, and that meant that whole sections of London had to be rebuilt and refurnished thereafter. So there was a big industry going on producing fine quality furniture for those homes of the bankers, the merchants and the such like from the City of London. Interestingly, this piece is easy to date for a number of reasons, but one of them is this double moulding that you see here at the waist. Now with this double moulding, it is in fact in two parts. The top part of it is attached to the upper part of the cabinet. This part here is attached to the bottom part. And that's a subject that we'll come back to as time progresses and as we look at later pieces. James II was only on the throne for 4 years, from about 1685 to 1689, and was followed by the accession of William and Mary. Now, William and Mary came over from Holland, he was William of Orange, to take the throne here in the United Kingdom. And we see here this piece dating from about 1690, made in London by Thomas Pistor, probably as part of the rebuilding programme of the City of London, executed in Kingwood by Thomas Pistor. It's a very exceptional cabinet, but bearing in mind that we're talking about styles and how they changed, look at how the concave moulding at the top of the previous escritoire is now convex rather than concave. You see it comes in that direction. And then we look at these mouldings here, and what was on the previous piece a moulding in two parts is now a moulding in one part. This whole thing is one moulding all attached to the base, and the top then sits within that moulding. The other thing to note is that all these mouldings here are what we call cross grain. They couldn't make a moulding in long grain, so they had to take small pieces of these rare and exotic woods, be it walnut or kingwood, glue them onto a piece of pine and then shape them. But this meant that because they were used in short lengths, they always then shrink slightly and produce an almost bamboo effect if you run your hand along there. So this one, again, it's more English in feel than the previous escritoire. The scale is slightly different, the proportions are slightly different. But again, a lovely piece from that period. William and Mary, and a joy to behold. As we move into the Queen Anne period from William and Mary, we're looking at again a progression of styles. Now here, this little bureau bookcase executed in burr walnut, Still retains all the cross-grain mouldings, as I said. Small pieces, short pieces, glued onto pine, then shaped and then applied to the carcass. As you can see, going right the way through. Still bun feet, or ball feet in this particular case. But what we see here is a progression from Charles II through to William and Mary, now to Queen Anne, and we see the beginnings of a much more architectural feel to this, with these fluted and stop-fluted columns, the very architectural pediment with this broken arch there, and again the re-entrant corners here on the gilt slip, and you'll see this repeated on the inside as well, where we've got the fluted and stop-fluted columns there, and again we've got the same feature here inside the bureau. One of the nice touches of this is this little device here, a pull-out slide for putting your brass candlestick on so that the light is reflected into the room from the mirrored door. This one dating from about 1710, towards the end of Queen Anne's reign. A very beautiful piece, but you can see the progression now as we go through the different styles. I do hope you have enjoyed viewing this video, and there will be follow-up videos with discussions and fresh stock items as they become available. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to get news of future editions. Click the link below to subscribe to our free regular e-newsletter with further images of fresh acquisitions as well as free invitations to antiques fairs and exhibitions. Thank you.